Good afternoon, John Marra, Village of Timberlake. As mayor of the Village of Timberlake, I just want to make a point that I've been coming to these meetings, NOACA meetings, started the board meeting in January, and February, and so forth, and these committee meetings. And I see a lot of mayors from all these other counties. There's not one mayor from Lake County, so just to make that known. It'd be nice that if I can maybe be invited sometime to sit on the chair. There's a lot of absent chairs. I mean, we don't even have a quorum today. And again, it'd be nice to hear from everybody, not just selected people who are basically picked out or appointed. Secondly, I'd like to bring up about the CPAC. This is the first thing here, the applications. We're a small community. Again, all the CPAC applications were due May 5th. There was no way that we could possibly meet that deadline. I mean, we're only given 2 months. We have to have a resolution prepared to accompany it, which basically takes 3 readings, and we can do it in 1 reading. But then again, in order for us to even do the applications, we have to have a resolution for the application to begin with. So, as you know, there's a lot of red tape when it comes to municipalities that we have to get things passed. But anyway, then we had to have the engineering study done, the plans drawn up, the estimate all done. We had a partial done, but it wasn't final, or it wasn't in submittal form, so therefore, we missed the deadline. Now we have to wait 2 years to basically submit something. And again, just saying we're a small village, and we kind of just looked over. 2 years ago, I submitted to NOACA for some storm sewer improvements that we direly need, and we weren't even considered. And the point system, again, it's supposed to be equitable, but it's not. We never meet the point system because, again, we don't have the population, we have the demand, there's a lot of other things, that criteria that are in that point system that we'll just never ever be able to meet. So there's a very big inequality there. And then all these plans as far as the bike paths and so forth, I don't see where the CO2 reduction is. I mean, people can only ride the bikes maybe a couple months out of the year. Can't ride them all winter. What are we going to do all winter long? And then what are the people going to do when you have a bad storm day or something happens where we have inclement weather? Then again, can't go anywhere, can't carry anything, can't do anything. I mean, how are people going to go to work, go to places, just riding a bike, and where do you park the bike? I mean, I guess how this is going to reduce CO2, I'd like to see some numbers. How many tons of CO2 by installing all these bike trails all over the 5 counties, what are the exact numbers CO2 reduction? What are those numbers? I'd like to see those numbers. And again, they're having this travel survey. They're going to be ages 13 to 75. They want to find out people's habits to go to work, where they go, where they shop. I mean, 13-year-olds don't go to school, okay? 70 or go to work. 75-year-olds are all retired. They don't work. I understand who we're going to pick. The survey is only going to pick a limited number of people. It's less than 1% of the population. How is a survey like that going to give a true picture of really what's going on? So again, I just see millions of dollars being wasted on surveys that basically aren't going to really show us anything. The other thing is on the CO2 reduction emission. I mean, they want to take transportation right now consists of 28.4% emission, and electric is 27.1. Now, if we change all the cars from gas to electric, what's going to happen is, we'll reduce the transportation CO2 output, but we're going to increase the electric output of CO2 because, again, there's only a 30% difference savings because 70% of the fossil fuel, or electricity, comes from fossil fuel, the production of electricity. So that we're going to see a different tip. So what do we do at that point? And then again, not everybody can afford electric cars. And then the charging stations is another thing. Those aren't equitable. They want to put them in places where, again, park and fly. So that basically if someone's parked there, they're there for a day or two, they're going to tie up a charging station. Don't understand how that's equitable. Or where they put them in other areas, how people have to drive to it and get inconvenienced, and what are they going to do while they're waiting? Again, I don't think a lot of these things are planned out, but the main thing is, where are the CO2 reductions? I'd like to see the numbers on how much CO2 that we are going to reduce, the global warming we will reduce, by the emissions that we're going to be doing, the emission output for the transportation, the environmental stewardship, pavement maintenance, how that reduces CO2. I'd like to see that, because these are the 5 plans, the 6 plans that they have. Or one is bike paths. How does that reduce CO2? The rail. How does that reduce CO2? 2 months ago I came down here with public transportation. Nobody riding the bus. There were 6 of us, including me, on the bus coming down here. You know, and again, they're most of the time running empty. You know, it's a lot of CO2 that they're putting out there. The other thing is the Hyperloop. That's one last thing. I haven't heard much on it, but they want to build a Hyperloop from here to Chicago. That's great, but it doesn't serve anything in Lake County. And then again, you know, how does that save CO2? I guess, what are the numbers, exactly how much CO2 we're going to save by building a Hyperloop that's going to cost us millions and millions of dollars. So, thank you very much.